Hey there, Mouseketeers, it's Kate from PrincessMinnie here, and while there is a taste of Disney in this video, this is not a completely Disney-themed craft video, and really, what I love about these crafts is you can make some of them Disney-fied, or you could keep them non-Disney, so this video could really be for anyone, and especially this video is for people of all crafting abilities, because these are really easy, not too expensive, and not too time-consuming, and it could be fun to either do by yourself, with little ones, with assistance to them, or with a larger family group as well. So I can't wait to get started. We are going to be doing some painted pumpkins. We're gonna do a Mickey head wreath. Of course, you could just do a basic wreath if you didn't want to Disneyfy it. We're going to do a little art piece that is Disneyfied, but I'm going to talk about other ideas for it that don't have to include Disney, and we're also going to do a garland of pumpkins. So I can't wait to get started. I will just quickly let you know that anytime I can, I will be linking materials down in my description box below, so check that out. And if you like this video or just want to support my channel, a thumbs up is a super easy, free, and quick way to do that. So let's get started. Here we have all of the ingredients you need to make yourself a Mickey head wreath for Halloween. Now again, this is how I'm doing it, but there are so many different options of what you could do out there. Here is what I like to do. First, you're going to need a glue gun and some glue sticks to actually attach the different parts of the wreath together. You will then need some spray paint. This is what I like to use, but of course there's lots of good ones out there. I find that the finish on this one is really nice. Whatever I can, I will link down below as well. The most important part, of course, are the wreaths themselves. These are some grapevine wreaths that come in a set of 3, and because you will need 2 ears up at the top, you do need to buy 2, but I have actually found that that is really fine because it then allows you to make additional crafts. And I would highly recommend using the brand that I'm going to link below because I think the proportions of the ear to the Mickey head piece is just my favorite proportions that I've found in different crafting materials. Then to decorate, once that first part is done where you put everything together, I did find some spider webs and some glittery spiders. Now these 2 things I found at my local Dollar Tree, and then I happened to find this actually at Giant, my grocery store, some spider webbing in their like holiday / seasonal aisle. So I think I'm gonna like this one better, but I will check out both just to be sure. After gathering your materials, you do need to separate out the grapevine wreaths that you want to use. So I use 1 of the largest and then 2 of the medium size, which leaves me some other wreaths for later crafts, but I really like the proportion of this Mickey head a lot. Then you will need to, of course, heat up your glue gun, and then I do simply just place some glue right about here-ish and press them together, and I hold them there for at least a minute or so, and then when both sides have been glued, I just let this guy hang out totally dry, make sure that it's really stable before I move on to the spray painting portion. I gave the hot glue a few minutes to dry, and now that it is dry, I set up a little makeshift spray paint stand in my backyard. Again, I am using the Rust-Oleum 2-time Ultra Cover paint with primer in flat black. Whatever you use, just make sure to look at the directions on the back. Mine says that this should be dry to the touch in about 20 minutes. After some drying time, I think this actually looks really good. I got most of the crevices, so I think instead of giving it a second coat right now, I'm actually going to flip it over and do the back, and then once that's dry, We can see if there's any other areas at that time that need a little touch up. The back doesn't necessarily need to be as coated, but you know, you might see it while it's displayed, so you do want to make sure to hit it at least a little bit. And here is our completely dried Mickey head wreath. I'm super obsessed with this. I love how this looks without even being decorated, and I think the best part of this craft is now you can decorate it however you would like. If you want it to look a little cuter, you could put some nice bows on it. If you wanted to put like a witch's hat on it that you buy from a dollar store or craft store, you could totally do that. You could put some fall leaves on it for pops of color. I am going the spider web and glittery spider route. This was the dollar store spider web, and then this was the one I got at my grocery store at Giant in their seasonal aisle, and I do think I prefer this one, so I'm going to go with this, and then I'm going to place some of these dollar store glittery spiders on it as well. Not quite sure how I'm going to position it yet, but I'll hot glue that and I'll give you the final update. I will say though, I think if you already have a lot of busy Halloween decor or you're more of a minimalist anyhow, I do think that just the Mickey head itself could be super cute without any additional decoration. And voila, the decorated spider web Mickey head wreath. I am totally obsessed with this. I love how it came out. The spider web was super easy to work with. I actually thought I'd have to like hot glue it down in some places, but I didn't have to. It just stuck to the wreath. I'm not sure if that's going to be true of any wreath, but if you buy the ones that I specifically linked down below, then you will not have to worry about hot gluing the spider webs down. And just really quickly, I don't know if anybody expects this, but I don't make any money off anything you click for materials. I'm just trying to help you out there if you like these materials. My favorite part is this ear completely covered with spider webs, and it made me want to cover the whole thing, but I decided to have some restraint, and I didn't have to hot glue most of the spiders either. The only one I hot glued was right here, just because he really didn't want to hang on, but my general idea was that this ear was already a really nice home for a spider, and that down this way the spiders were kind of moving up to the other ear to make their home. So I love this, and I cannot wait to hang this bad boy up. Here are all of the items that you will need for a super easy pumpkin craft that I feel like almost anyone can tackle, but it's going to look like a very high-end piece of home decor when you're done. So first of all, you're going to need your craft pumpkin or pumpkins. This one is ceramic. It's also hollow inside, so it's extremely lightweight, but it does have a very good feel to it. Like, it's not going to just be easily knocked over or anything. And this came as a set of 3. I got it from Amazon, and I would highly recommend it, so it will be linked below, but it was fulfilled by the Oriental Trading Company, just in case you're already like doing an order with them. They also, I think, sell it with a 4th and even bigger pumpkin. This was the middle-sized pumpkin. I already attempted this just to make sure I liked the effect on a small and a large version of this pumpkin, so I'll show you those at the end. But essentially what we're going to be doing is painting this in a black and gray buffalo plaid pattern, and it's going to look so chic and so trendy for the moment with how people are decorating. And so what you're going to need is, of course, your ceramic pumpkin, like I said, or your set of ceramic pumpkins, and then I would just say do them all in like an assembly line fashion with the steps I'm going to show you. And of course you're going to need your paint. You can pick whatever paint brands you like. This is just what my store happened to have in stock. So I have black from Craft Smart, and I really like this. I mean, black is kind of just, you know, any black will work, right? I was very picky about the gray color that I wanted, so I had to switch brands to this Deco Art brand by Americana, and this is called Slate Gray. And if you're not someone familiar with painting, of course you are going to need a paintbrush. I picked a brush with a very small like tip, I would rather work on this craft in smaller sections rather than have the paint get away from me, because I will tell you, on this ceramic, the paint will dry extraordinarily fast. So there's really no like fixing something, like wiping it away. It's not gonna happen. So you wanna be very deliberate with where you're putting paint so you don't have to go over it later on with a different color. Anyway, so I also have like a little palette, and use what you have. This is the lid of a storage container that has got many, many uses. So I thought it was time for it to have a new second act in life. And then I just have my little Captain America cup here, like 99 cents from the grocery store, that I use for the water, because of course you are going to want to wet your brush before application, and then also after, you really want to get all that paint off, make sure to scrape the bottom of the cup very well, and then you can dab your brush on your paper towel before the next step with the next color. All right, so let's get started. The first thing is going to be to paint this stem black. Now, here's the thing. That's how I started it. If you'd rather start with the body of the pumpkin and do the black last, you certainly can do that. There's really no rhyme or reason for me why I'm doing the black part first, other than when I saw somebody do something similar, that's how they started. But if for some reason you're like, no, I think doing the black last would be the best for me, honestly, go for it. There's no reason that wouldn't work. I also found with this material, I'll just tell you really quickly, that this type of ceramic, I really didn't need to go over any areas more than once for the vast majority of the other two pumpkins that I did, especially with the black parts. The gray, maybe I needed a little dab here and there extra, but you should be able to get this done in one take, essentially. And there we are, step one done. That is only one coat of the black paint. I'm gonna tell you, when I did my tester pumpkins to make sure I liked this craft for you guys, I was so obsessed with just the white pumpkin with the black stem that I was like, I'm just gonna keep them like this. So you could obviously feel that way if you really liked this and it matched your decor. Or, oh, I'm thinking you could even like paint like black eyes and a black mouth to make it look like a ghost or something like that. That would be really cute. Maybe I'll do that next year, because I do love these pumpkins so much. I'm gonna have to do something with them again. But we'll see the next steps, and I have a feeling you're gonna wanna continue as well. Again, this paint dries super fast, so this is almost completely dry. So let me tell you about step two while it dries. Step two is to alternate these ridges. And now this pumpkin has very defined ridges. Obviously, if you have like a different kind of craft pumpkin, you might need to break out the ruler and make sure your sections are about the same width, or you could kind of just, you know, use your fingers to decide. But your next step is to paint a gray stripe down alternating pumpkin ridges. And I'll show you what that looks like so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So step one is done. Let's start step two. Now for this specific pumpkin, I've already done two others, like I mentioned, where I just alternated one ridge, gray, left it white, gray, left it white, gray, left it white, all the way around. This one I want to do something a little bit different so you can see at the end a few different styles and decide what you want to do. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do two ridges gray, so it's a little bit wider, two ridges white, two ridges gray, two ridges white, and all the way around. Here's the thing, if you make any mistakes, guess what we call that? The back of the craft. So don't worry, this is gonna look awesome no matter how you choose to tackle it. Now that we've completed our alternating stripe sections, we are done step two. There's only two steps left. So step three is now to take the same gray color and make bands along the body of the pumpkin. And you want them to be kind of similar in width. So I don't really think it would be worth it personally to use like a tape measure or something to mark where you want to go around, but you absolutely could take that step if you want it to look perfect. Personally, I didn't do that with my testers and I think they came out just fine. I eyeballed it. With this, I did a very thick vertical stripe, so horizontally I'm probably going to try to keep the stripes a little thick as well and keep it to about 2 bands around the pumpkin. One maybe I'll go about here-ish and the other about here. We are finally on to step 4, and that is to bring our black paint back, and we are going to paint squares now along the original vertical bands. We're going back to that step, but we're going to paint squares on every other section around the horizontal band. So this white and gray section, completely done. Don't touch anything that's already white or gray. Go to the solid gray sections and make your gray, then black, then gray, then black, and then finish with gray. So all I have to do is do 2 black squares again to complete the bands around the pumpkin body. And so there we have our one finished piece. Let me show you the whole craft as a set. In all honesty, this is probably my favorite craft I have ever done. I don't think it looks perfect by any means, but I think that this looks, especially the farther away you get, I think it looks really high end. I think it looks like you would have bought it in a store. You can see that all 3 of mine are slightly different, which I think adds to the look. Like, I don't think you want these to be super cookie cutter. Do it however you like. And the only thing, in case you buy these exact pumpkins to try this craft, the only thing I do want to caution you about is this small guy right here doesn't actually have enough ridges or sections to do every other. So all I did was, on the back of course, took 2 sections and did a small stripe in the middle. And it's kind of noticeable when you look at it like this, but if you put it towards the back, you're never going to notice. So, and I also have a mistake on the back of this one. I'll show you really quickly. There's no great trick to these black lines, except to just take your time and be patient, and I got a little bit of extra paint on the gray section at the bottom. I think when that happened, I was like, you know what, I'll just go over with some gray paint once it dries, which I think would look fine, but even easier is to say, that is the back. I love how this came out. I hope you try this, and you could do other colors as well. I've seen people do it with like light blue and dark blue. Next year I'm thinking I might try it with orange instead of gray, so it's even more Halloween-y, maybe doing a light orange and then like a darker orange and then black. So there's lots of ways you could do this craft. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you could even do this in shades of pink. That would be very cute. Our next craft is a Halloween garland, a pumpkin garland, and you can really customize this one so much. It looks like a lot of things that you need, a lot of materials that you need for this craft, but this is honestly one of the easiest crafts I've ever done in my whole life. Anyone can definitely attempt this, and you could also make it easier for yourself. I make it a little more complicated than it needs to be, but just because I like the final effect. Let's talk about what you do need. First, you're going to need some scrapbook paper. I, of course, went with some traditional like Halloween looks. I'm obsessed with this pumpkin paper. There's some stripes, there's some polka dots. I have others as well, and this was from a great seller on Amazon, and I will put that link down below, but they have like 16 different kinds of paper within that set. So you're gonna find something that you like. You're going to need cardboard. You're gonna need a glue stick and a Sharpie marker, some kind of marker. You're going to need a pumpkin printable template. This one is free. It's for anyone to use. I will link it down below, but feel free if you have a different template that you like. That I found this one on Pinterest. You might find a different one you like, a shape you like better. I really enjoyed this one personally, so I'm using this. And again, it's linked down below. You need scissors. You will need a hole punch. Being a teacher, I have a big 3-hole punch, but you can easily buy a single hole punch. Like my grocery store even sells them, or at a craft store. And finally, you will need yarn. I was originally going to do this craft with black yarn, but I couldn't find it. And then I realized where I'm putting this, I have like a Halloween theme color-wise of purple, black, and orange. So I thought, you know what? A purple yarn is gonna work perfectly. This is how we're gonna hang up the garland. So if you would rather use a different material, go for it. It's your craft. All right, so the first step would be to print out your template and then cut it out. Okay, I've printed out my template, I've cut it out. Now, the basic gist of what we're doing is we're going to be cutting out the scrapbook paper to look like a pumpkin. And we're actually going to do it in sections, but here's one way to make it easier on yourself. Just do this shape. So you don't have to do sections. You don't have to make it harder on yourself. If you want an even easier craft, just make the entire pumpkin out of one kind of scrapbook paper. I'm going to show you something I think looks a little fancier, but it does take a few more steps. Now, I think that this step is making it easier on yourself, but you might disagree. And if you just want to use this piece of paper to go on top of the scrapbook paper, trace around it, you can do that. But I'm going to show you how I did it. Just know you can always change it. Trust your craft guts and do it how you feel. So I traced all the way around this pumpkin. We're going to do this in segments. So we're going to cut off these two sides of the pumpkin, and then we're going to trace what's left. Two sides are cut off as well as the stalk. Traced it. And one final tracing step here with the cardboard. We're going to cut off the two sides again, be left with the middle, and trace that oval. Oval is traced, and now we are done with the original paper. The next step will be to create your cardboard template simply by cutting out these three shapes. And here are our cardboard cutouts. Now we're going to be using these to trace each part of the pumpkin on a different piece of scrap paper. I added this one because I decided I wanted something lighter colored in there as well. And I thought all of these really went nicely together. So I am going to trace the big section of the pumpkin, the middle section, and the smallest section on each of these pieces of paper. Now I'm just doing one set of pumpkins per scrapbook page, but you could see there is so much space left on this paper that if you wanted to make multiple pumpkins, you could easily do that from the same scrapbook page. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut these out so we can start assembling our pumpkin garland. And here we have all of our pumpkin pieces. Now the fun begins. You're going to put these in different patterns to see which final pumpkin you like. So one thing like I had tried when I did my testers is, for example, to take this first pumpkin, then maybe put that one on top, and then let's say that one, and glue that down. Now I think that looks really super adorable, but in the end I decided it was just a bit too busy for me. So I removed the third final piece and almost did like a sandwich. I took the same pattern for the biggest part and the smallest part, and then put a different pattern in the middle, and ultimately I decided that that was still really fun, but it wasn't as busy looking. So there's what I ultimately came up with, and you see I also have 5 additional ones with different paper. Those were my testers to make sure I liked this craft, and I am definitely feeling it. So only 3 steps left. We're going to glue these bad boys down. We're going to hole punch them. I think right about here would be a great place, right at the neck of the pumpkin. And then we will put the purple yarn, in my case purple, could be different in your case, the purple yarn through, and we will see how it can hang. Be careful when you're hole punching, especially if you're using a 3-hole punch like me. I did have one casualty. I might see if I can just like tie it around the stem or glue the yarn to this one, but if I only have 9 instead of 10 pumpkins, it's really not the end of the world. What I'm probably going to actually do to hang this is to hang up 2 command strip hooks and then just tie the end of the string around them. I am going to be showing off how I'm decorating for Halloween. So if you would like to see this hung up in my house, make sure to stay tuned for that video in just a couple of days. For our final craft, it is an art piece, and it's mostly computer based. So all the steps are free and really easy. You don't have to pay for any kind of software. You don't have to join any kind of website. You just need to have access to a printer and you need ink. That's it. If you have a printer, I'm assuming you have ink and paper already. I'm going to give you pretty much the basic overall steps right now. I'm just going to explain it to you here, but the website is really user-friendly and easy to follow. However, I will be giving you a series of screenshots from my process and writing a little bit more of the steps. So if you needed to kind of watch this video and then go do it on your computer, if you wanted to quickly write down the steps and then follow it on your computer, you could do that, or have me open on one tab and that website open on another tab. You can do it. You'll be able to figure out. It's really easy. But essentially we are creating a word cloud, and word clouds were super popular about like 10 years ago. I would see them all the time at like work and school and things like that. But then they kind of disappeared. I guess they just were trendy and the trend ended. But then someone at my job did a word cloud in one of his presentations, and I thought, I could make that into a really cute Halloween craft. So what I did was I found a great website. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but so I'm going to put it right here. It's also going to be in the description box below for you to just click on the link and go. And I'll probably put some really basic descriptions of the steps in the description box too. But so essentially what you want to do is with a word cloud, is you put a whole bunch of words into their program, really simple, and they will generate a cloud for you that is really adorable, and you can actually adjust the colors. You can even adjust the shape. So I made mine very Halloween-y colors, and I did a really cool shape. I'll let you see it in the video to follow. And the words I use, you can type in words. So if you just wanted to put in like ghost, vampire, pumpkin, Halloween-related words, you could do that. And what it does is the words that are more prominent or used more frequently, they put larger in the word cloud. So if you type pumpkin in like 15 times and then you typed ghost in twice, pumpkin would be a lot larger than ghost. That's essentially what the word cloud is, in case you haven't seen one, because like I said, they haven't been around for a while, like in people's faces. But what I did is I actually copy and pasted the lyrics to This Is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas to have that Halloween-y vibe. I love that song. I could actually stop watching that movie after that song because I just love it so much. And it turned out really, really cool. I'm so excited to have you guys see it. And in the end, what you'll do is you'll put it into a frame if you want, hang it up, or display it tabletop in that frame. And there's some suggestions for you as well in the latter part of the video. So here are my steps to completing this project. And here is my final printout. I love this so much, and I love that this could be done in so many themes. So, you know, I was thinking you could manually input the name of like your favorite horror villains and do a word cloud that was like Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers and Chucky and all that stuff. That's a little too scary for me. Or I was thinking maybe next year I might do the lyrics to the Monster Mash. I think that is the right amount of cutesy Halloween for me. I just can't get over this. I love the words that are really highlighted. So the only other thing I need for this craft is a frame. Now I'm gonna hang it up. So I also need my little command strips, but otherwise this is all you need. And this frame I just bought on Amazon, so you could really get anything you wanted. I did get an 8x10. This is regular computer paper, so it should be, what's that, 8.5 by 11, I believe. So I will have to trim it a bit, but I'm excited to show it to you all framed up. Here it is all framed up. Now I was able to trim off most of the white, but I was not prepared for some of the white to still show up at the top. Now I'm gonna be honest, when I'm just like standing normally, if I were to just display this like on a table or something, I wouldn't even notice it. It looks like this to me. But obviously when you look at it straight ahead and I am planning on hanging it, then you are gonna notice that white strip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get some black paper, either construction paper or something else, scrapbook paper, and I'm going to just put that right behind there. Otherwise, I just don't think it's a huge deal, to be honest. And I love this. I didn't want to not show it to you just because that white strip. Like I mentioned earlier, I am really hoping to film that Halloween decorating video for you guys. So if you want to see it completely done and hung up, then make sure to stay subscribed with your notifications on so we can have more awesome Halloween content together. Guys, I am so intensely in love with all the crafts from this month's video. I do intend on doing semi-monthly craft videos. I already have crafts planned for November and December, and then we'll see from there. I am really, really happy with how everything turned out. I think these are easy. They're not really overly expensive, and the best part is you don't need any like big tools or anything to complete this. A lot of these things you probably either can get easily via Amazon, or you might even have like paint and paintbrushes and things like that. So let me know which of these crafts you're going to attempt, and if you do them, please let me know about it. I would love to see what you do, especially if you do a Mickey head wreath and you decorate it differently than I did. That would be really, really fun to see. And I will definitely be bringing more Mickey head wreaths in the upcoming months as well. So if there's any craft you'd like me to attempt, definitely link it down below or describe it down below so I know. I do like to do these super easy ones that I think people of many skill levels can tackle. I'm really excited to go decorate, and thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon.